Rightio, I'm making this new video just to tell you about the intellect and intuition and how it's a different intelligence to a rigid intelligence or a framework that we've decided on for intelligence as humans. It's different and it's unknown because it's intuitive. So we have to trust it, right? So, for example, I woke up this morning and someone very dear to me in spirit said, who has gone to uni and studied, he was like, I didn't agree with what you said in your video, Ben. And he gave me the middle finger, and then he said, I'm number one. That's what he said. And the male collective was like, that's because you're gay, Ben. And they were like, we would go to him better because we trust him. That's what they said. And that's just because, yeah, they said good for you. They said because that's how humans have seen like proof. That's what we think about, striving to win because we need to get our job from uni to make money. And that's seen as more masculine. And it's seen as more masculine to have a rigid argument and shut somebody down basically that doesn't have a rigid argument, and they look more trustworthy, right? Because they've basically had to fight for their survival. They've had to fight to win. They've always had to fight to make money. They've had to fight. They've formed up this rigid structure that's not like water, so that they can basically contain their families and basically prove themselves to society, so that they can like get what they need. So that they can have what they want, right? So there's a different sort of intelligence to what I do here, and I would go as far as saying I'm going to go on a limb here because this is what I honestly believe. I believe it's more intelligent because it's God's intelligent because we don't have to be right, right? And in not having to be right, we actually attract that same frequency of not having to be right. And it's like taking that cork from under the water and it goes up to the surface, and that's where we get God's intuition. And wisdom from other people always will yield a higher mass benefit than what it would have if you were trying to focus on yourself, where you've pushed that cork under the water for your own selfish motives, basically. So that's why sometimes when I make a blog and I do a channeling or I make a video, some of the words will be wrong that I get spiritually, but that actually has a purpose, a greater purpose, because for one, it makes people think, right? If they think, oh, this doesn't look that good, they're going to think about the topic more and they're going to scrutinize it more, and then they're going to learn more. So these things are done deliberately, but two, it's also not serious, and that's what we're teaching. This stuff isn't serious. So that's why we don't have to be by the book with every single little thing, because that's what we're teaching. It's about learning, and if you learn through a methodology that's not correct, if you're learning and if more people learn and if it's more interesting to people, it's served its purpose better, because that's our goal. Our goal is to put material out to help people. So that would be better than doing something really rigid by the book that's boring that no one's going to watch. So we make it entertaining by doing our own creative spiel or our own creative slant on a message that's one and always the same, a bit like what Ra just said in that video. And so that's our methodology. So yeah, God just said you my fagger because that's what we do. And sometimes they lie. That's why spirit people lie to wisdom all the time. They lie to me all the time. It's not wrong. It's all the one whole truth. Even lies to wisdom are the one whole truth. Look up Howard Storm's near-death experience. There's one, I think it goes for an hour and 50 minutes. It was made in the early 2000s. And that's really interesting if you want to look up more about the afterlife. And he's got his own methodology. And obviously own experience, so I don't really want to speak for him, because if you're interested you can watch the video, but it's they recommended it for me to show my friend that I brought over last night, because you'll see at the start of his video, can I say that? I can say that. Right, so you'll watch it, and he was in the hospital room, and he like he died temporarily. And so his spirit, he was looking at his body because he didn't believe afterlife existed. He thought that once you died, that was it, you dead. Like, and you'll see it was in 1985. You'll see when you watch the video. So he was looking at his body and he was like screaming at the person next to him, like just screaming at him, and he wouldn't respond. And then he was like, "What's going on? What's this?" And then he got led into a hallway into more and more darkness. And that was all lies to wisdom. It's a bit like you'll watch it and you'll be like, "Oh, now I understand what Ben goes through." It was lies to wisdom. And then he emerged into the light upon praying to Jesus. And here's a revelation, because they were his spirit guides, those people leading him down that dark tunnel, from what I was told, the whole way. They were his spirit guides. And then when he emerged into the light, there were angels there with Jesus, and they were his same spirit guides, but in a more enlightened space, basically. So your spirit guides work with you at the affinity which you're attracting at all times, and that is to help you with your own amazing wisdom. So they're always here. It's the same people. That's what that's just what I'm telling you. Watch it though, it's really interesting. It's an hour and 50 minutes. I would highly recommend it. It's very interesting.